Clearing the fog. Dealing with ambiguity and relative clauses. Hello, language enthusiasts. Welcome back to our video series on mastering English grammar. Today, we are delving into the intriguing world of relative clauses, specifically focusing on the ambiguity in relative clauses. We'll look at common pitfalls and learn how to correct them to make our English clearer and more precise. So, grab your notebook and let's get started. Before we can correct something, we need to understand what it is. When we talk about ambiguity in relative clauses, we refer to sentences where it's unclear which noun the relative clause is modifying. This can create confusion for the reader or listener. Here's an example. I spoke to the woman sitting on the bench with sunglasses. In this sentence, is the woman wearing sunglasses, or are the sunglasses on the bench? This is ambiguity. Key takeaway. Ambiguity in relative clauses happens when it's unclear which noun the relative clause is modifying. Now, we need to be able to spot these ambiguous sentences. It's not always easy, as they might look perfectly fine at first glance. The best way to identify them is by trying to understand the sentence from a reader's perspective and seeing if there's any room for misinterpretation. Key takeaway. To identify ambiguity, read the sentence from a third person's perspective and check for possible misinterpretations. Once you've identified an ambiguous relative clause, how do you correct it? The simplest method is to move the relative clause closer to the noun it's modifying. Let's take our previous example. I spoke to the woman sitting on the bench with sunglasses. If we wanted to say the sunglasses were on the bench, we could rewrite the sentence as, I spoke to the woman who was sitting on the bench, where there were sunglasses. If, on the other hand, the woman was wearing the sunglasses, the sentence could be rewritten as, I spoke to the woman, who was wearing sunglasses, sitting on the bench. Key takeaway. Correct ambiguity by moving the relative clause closer to the noun it is meant to modify. Now, let's practice what we've learned. Here are a few sentences. Try to identify if they're ambiguous, and if so, correct them. 1. I bought a car from a man with a hat. 2. She saw a dog on the balcony with a telescope. 3. He found a book in the library about dinosaurs. Remember, practice is the key to mastering any language skill. And that's it for today, folks. We hope this video has helped clear up the fog around ambiguity in relative clauses. Remember, the key is to identify the ambiguity and move the relative clause closer to the noun it's modifying. Practice this, and soon you'll be crafting clear, precise sentences like a pro. Keep learning, and we'll see you in the next video. Happy learning!